Hello again, and welcome to today's new Payrun Journey Beta training session. So for today, we'll be covering the new user interface that some of you might have seen in your accounts already, marked with a blue box at the top of your new Payrun Journey process, where you will be able to see the new user interface. So you might be wondering, why use the new Payrun Journey? This new Payrun Journey helps to transform the Payrun process into a fluid and user-friendly experience, similar to editing data in Excel, allowing for the release of payslips once data is accurately updated, while still ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. It also enhances usability with real-time updates to statutory components like your CPF and SDL, and a thorough review and optional Payrun approval layer. So the new Payrun Journey process is split into 3 parts, where first you can select employees, and then you can select the pay elements, followed by reviewing and submitting it for approval. So you might be wondering how this new interface looks like. So the new Payrun Journey, this will be the overview page when you first click into using the new Payrun Journey. As a whole, you'll notice that there's a lot more functions and features available. So right off the bat, you will see that it is split into 2 parts, where on the first top section, you will see there's the Payrun section. This Payrun section will allow you to run new payruns and also see any payruns in progress. Whereas the section at the bottom shows you the Payrun approval history. This Payrun approval history will be any payruns done that has already gone through approval. So on this overview page itself, you will also notice that there's a new viewing option where you can view the payruns by employee or by the payruns itself. So previously in the old system, you will be able to see only by the payruns done itself. And then you have to click into the payrun and view the individual employees. Whereas now in this new user interface, you'll be able to see each employee that you have already ran for. You will also see the Payrun approvals, meaning anything that has already been done, that has been approved, will be in the bottom section at the below. This section here, you will also be able to switch it between the by payruns or by employee list. On this page itself, you will also be able to release the payslip. So right at the bottom, you will see the release button. And once you release it, the payslip status will show you as released. So what exactly is the Payrun process? The first step will be to select employees. In this selecting employees section here, you will notice that there are new filter options. So we can now select the month that you're doing the Payrun for. So for those of you who needs to do a back Payrun, no problem. You can still do it. Just select the very first filter to switch the months. By default, it will show you the current month. You will also have the Payrun period, where you can just switch it. And the new options will be filtering it by employee and filter by active employees or those that have resigned. So employee option will show you every single employee that you can select by departments. I will show you this during the demo session in a bit. But what's the second step? The second step will be allowing you to select the pay elements. So in this pay element section, you will be able to edit the information, meaning the pay elements itself. You can also just add in or remove certain pay elements without having to go back to the administration page. So here is where, if you notice the CPF and SDL columns, it will be updated live. As long as you add in any CPF components, the CPF column will be updated as well. The last step will be to review and submit for approval. So this last step here is where you can have an additional layer of approval. And if you do set it up, once you review it, you can send it for approval. Once it has been sent for approval, the final approval will be able to approve. And once approved, the payslips will be released. So now let's go into the demo session. So right now I am showing my screen for the system itself. So I'll show you this in 2 parts, where the first part will be I am using as my finance person. The finance person will be the one who runs the approval, or rather runs the pay run. And then I'll log out and log in again as my super admin, which in this case, my super admin will be the HR. Right? So very first step, for those of you running the pay run, will be to go to your payroll module and update everything under administration. This administration page remains the same as before. There are no changes here. So everything you need to be done, or everything that needs to be updated, please do it in the administration page. So for example, if there are any claims to process, any leave items, OT to process, let's say if you're using any other modules in the system, please go ahead, do it. So let me go and show you an example. For example, if I have any employees with expense claims to process, I will just need to go into process claims. Okay, and then I'll go into my expense claims. And I see that there are claims to be added in for my employees. So I just need to tick and approve so that it will be added into my employees' data, pay elements. Same thing for any other items that you need to process. You can go ahead, process. So let me show another example for the leave items. If anyone has any no pay leave that they have taken, or leave encashments that you have to process, go ahead, process those first. So here you can see, I have a couple of employees that have taken no pay leave. So for these two, I will go ahead and save it so that it will be added to those individuals' pay components. Okay, so now that I have added everything that I need to, meaning my leave and my claims or anything else, we can go ahead to the employee pay details, and you can always check back the information that you have added in. So for example, if I have added in for my employee Matt, I can just edit and you will be able to view the items. So again, all this remains the same. Now let's jump into the exciting part. So what exactly is the new Payrun user interface? Now that will be under the process pay page itself. So once you have updated all the information under administration page, go ahead, process your pay. Under the process pay page, you will notice that you have this new box here at the top in blue. So just click on the I want to try it button and it will bring you into the new user interface, right? But not to worry, if you're not comfortable using it yet, or if you need to switch back, you can always just click on this go back button to go back. Okay, before we jump into this, let me just show you how exactly you were running the payroll before so that we can see a clearer contrast of how exactly the new user interface works. So before, how you are doing it is when you need to run a new pay run, under this new pay run page, you will select the month, the pay period, and then employee selection. There are three options here where you can select and choose the employees that you like to include or exclude in the box. And then followed by the payslip release, any remarks, the payroll period, the OT period, and the payment date. Once you have entered this information, you would have clicked proceed, which will bring you to the next page, pay run progress. Under this pay run progress, you will see the current month and listed out by the pay runs that you have ran, right? So in this pay runs that you have ran, if you want to see the individual details, then you have to click into each number itself under the pending approval or approved or failed. And only then you'll be able to see the individual employees. Once you have approved it in this page, then it will run into the next page, the pay run summary page, where you can see everything that has been processed, right? Just to let you know, any pay runs done in the new user interface, you will still be able to see the data here as well in this old interface, because the data is still the same across the account itself. Okay, so now let's go into the new Payrun journey. So if I click on I want to try it, we will go into the new Payrun user interface here. So earlier, I mentioned that there will be two sections, which you are seeing right here now. So the first section will be this Payrun box. and the second section will be the Payrun approval history. So under Payrun approval history, right now you're seeing there's one Payrun that I have done already. So any other Payruns done, I will be able to see it in new records, or I can always click on the employee list to see it by the individual employees. Okay. To run a new payroll, all you need to do is click on the Add Payrun. Click on Add Payrun. And then we'll go into the very first part, which is selecting employees. Under selecting employees, the default Payrun month will always be the current month. So here we are in October now, so you're seeing October. If you need to switch it, no worries, just click on the calendar icon and then you can always select the past months. Payrun period, you can select this drop-down option to switch it. If you're doing a fortnightly payment, you can select that. Or if you're doing an ad hoc Payrun, you can select that as well. Okay, for this example, I will be doing a monthly Payrun. And then these new two options, these filters, will be what many of you have been requesting for. So we have added in, and now you'll be able to select the employees by the departments. So here, let's go ahead, click on the operations department. And if I click go, you'll be able to see all the employees under my operations department. Same thing for filter by options. So if you need to filter by active employees or maybe just the new hires or even processing pay for the resignees, you can do it in separate Payruns and easily just select and filter them out. Okay. If you notice, there will be also a filter icon here. So if you need additional filters, this is where you can click on it. And then here's where you can update the payroll period to follow the OT period. So all this will be the same as how we did it before. So OT period by default follows the current month, but of course you can change it if you're not following your current month. Payment date will be what appears on the payslip itself, and any remarks you want to enter in the payslip, you can enter it here. Okay, once that is done, here under the next section, you will see the employee details. So I have 4 employees under my operations team. So if I want to include all, I can just go ahead, leave the option selected. Or if you like to exclude certain people, you can just untick it for those people. Okay. Then all you need to do is click on the next button. This will then bring me to the next part, the second part, which is to select the pay elements. Under selecting pay elements, just wait for it to have everything loaded first. Okay. And if you notice, there will be a notification if there's any issues that you come across. Meaning if any records that have failed, not to worry, the system will still prompt you. Okay, so here you will be able to see my employee George then has an error. So same like before, if there's any errors, you can just click on the fix error icon and go ahead, update the data for that staff. Okay, save it, and then you can always go back to continue processing. Okay. But if you do not wish to process that employee at the moment, no worries. You can also choose to click on this trash icon to remove that person. And then just do another Payrun for that employee. So for now, we have 3 employees. We have Natasha, we have the super admin, and we have Peter Parker. Now, if you notice, some of it is actually in blue. So the ones in blue, you will be able to click on and you can update the information. So for example, clicking on the employee's name will allow me to add any remarks for that employee. And under total additions, you'll notice that it's also in blue. So if I click on this, now here's where you will be able to add any additional pay elements that you might have forgotten to add under the administration page. Not to worry, you don't have to go back to the administration page. You can just add it right here. You'll also notice that this name itself is in blue, which means you can just click on it to change the amount, right? So if I need to add any other pay elements, so I can just click on the one-time payment. Let's say I want to add in food allowance for the staff. Since it's 0, I will change it to maybe $20 and just add it in. Just like that, you have added in the pay element even when you're processing the pay. You will also notice that if you add in any pay elements that are CPF and SDL computing, it will be auto-reflected here, right? So let's do an example. Let's say I change this to $50. You'll notice that CPF, okay, this is CPF included. But if I do add in any other CPF components, it will be added in as well. So bonus should be CPF included. So let's go ahead add in just to take a look. So now you'll notice CPF has increased from 180 to 350 because I have included $1,000 bonus for the employee. Okay, this is for total additions. Same thing for total deductions. If you need to add in any other deductions, for example, if you might have a back pay that you need to exclude or include, this is where you can add it in. So similar to adding total additions, if there's any other deductions, pay elements, this is where you can add it in. Okay, voluntary contributions, also the same. If the employee or the employer yourself, you are contributing for any other additional, you can just add it in as well. Okay, and if you need to remove it, same thing, there's a trash icon here that you can remove it. Okay, once that's done, you can go ahead, check on other employees' information. So again, you can go ahead, click on it to check, remove anything that you would like to exclude or add in anything else. And then once everyone has been done or updated, you can go ahead, scroll down and click on the next button to go to the third step, which is to review. Okay, so now that I have clicked on review, I am on the review Payrun page. So I see that there are 3 records that I have processed for the 3 employees, right? Again, the names are in blue. So as long as it's in blue, I can click. I'll just click on the first person, Natasha, and you will be able to see the breakdown of the employee's pay components, right? So before you would have to click on the eye icon to view it, but now if you click on the name itself, you will still be able to see a summary of the breakdown. Clicking on the eye icon will also allow you to see more in detail. So if I go ahead, click on the eye icon, I can see and review. So now going back, you will notice that I have reviewed it. So as long as you click on the review button, and once you have seen the page, it will be marked as review. Okay, you will still be able to reject as well. Okay, of course, you don't have to view one by one. You can just click on the names and click on complete review as well. So if I click on this complete review, then the review will be done and the next step will be to send it for approval. So if I click on this, send for approval, my approver, which is my super admin, will receive an email notification. In that email, my super admin can just click in the link and it will bring me to the page directly, or the approval will be able to log in into their account and do the approval. Okay. So now that it has been sent for approval, in my page, I will be able to see the new record that was done for the new pay run. Okay, this is currently in progress. If I click on the eye icon, I will still be able to view the details of it here. Okay. And let me just show you the employee breakdown. So if I click on employee list, you'll be able to see all the employees that I have done in that particular pay run itself. Okay, same thing here. You'll be able to see all the employees that I have already approved for. So now that is all for the person who has to run the pay run. The next step will be for the approver. So let me just log out of my account and I'll log in as the approver, which is the super admin. Okay, so now I am the super admin and I have logged in into my account. So what I have to do is I have to approve it. If I click through the link in the email that I received, it will bring me to the page directly. But if I'm logging in directly into the system, I can just go into payroll, process pay, and then I can click on I want to try it. We'll go into the new Payrun journey. Okay. Here I can see that it is pending for my approval. So I can also see who it was run by. So it was my employee Jen. She ran for 3 employees. Okay, let's go ahead, take a look at the pay run that she has just done. So if I click on the eye icon, then it will bring me into the page where I can review all the information and approve the employee's pay. So what I can do, again, you'll notice that it's in blue. I can just click on the names to view the details itself, or I can click on the eye icon to view the information in detail. This will still be similar where you can approve it on this particular page itself. So if I click approve, I can approve the record. Or I can just tick on all the employees. Once I've checked it, I can go ahead, click on the approve button. Okay, so now you'll notice there's a notification. Payroll for selected 2 employees have been approved. I'll just go ahead, close this. So you'll notice that there's no data to be displayed. Don't panic. This is because we have just approved for everyone. So let's go ahead, click back to see the overview page again. So now in the overview page, there will be no pay runs because I've approved it already. Instead, it will now be listed out under pay run approval history section. So here under pay run approval history, you'll notice that there's 2 records now, 2 pay runs that were done. This was already done earlier today, and this is the pay run that I have just done. So you can see the pay runs that are done by the date and timing in this column here. Both ran by my employee Jen for different employees, which I can click on the employee list again to view it by the employees. Okay, you will be able to see the total net payable amount, released by, and payslip status. So the earlier one has been released, and for the one that we are doing now, there are 3 still pending. Okay, so again, we see something in blue here, which means we can click on it. Clicking on it will allow you to rename the pay run. So instead of having it the numbers by default, it will show you as _1, _2 for each pay run that you have done. I can just choose to rename it. Since I'm doing it by departments, I'll just choose to rename this as my operations team pay run that I have done. Right? So as an overview, it'll be easy for me to see, okay, I've done one for R&D department, I've done one for my operations department. Okay, I can click on the eye icon to view the details. And here, under view pay run, you'll be able to see a summary of everything that was done. Previously, you would have to go into the reports in order to see some of the details, but here you'll be able to see a summary. You'll be able to see the total employees that we ran the payroll for, the total gross salary amount, the net payable amount, total statutory fund, which I see is blue, so I click. So here you can see the breakdown of all the CDAC, CPF components, Mandaki, Sinda, if there's any stuff with those as well. Okay, under reports, you will have shortcuts as well. So again, you don't have to go into your reports module, but rather you can just download it immediately here. So if you would like to download the employee's payslip, you can just click on the download button and download it. Okay, same thing for monthly payroll details report, you can just download it. So we have the 2 most common reports used here for you. You'll also notice that there's bank file and CPF file generation. So if you like to generate the bank file or CPF file by the individual pay runs itself, you can generate it as well. Okay, and then the next section, you have the pay run name where you can still rename it here in this page itself, and the payment date. Okay, and right at the bottom, you'll have the records of all the employees that you have ran the payroll for in this particular pay run. So here you'll notice that I can tick the options and there's a release now button. This release now, if you click on it, there will be a few options for you. So you can choose to release now, which means the payslip will be released immediately. Or if you have already sent the payslip, you can click on the resend payslip button and employees will receive another notification. You can also choose the release later option. So you can choose which date you would like the payslip to be released and the system will do the rest for you. So the system will just trigger on the date that you set. You can also choose to save this for the next pay run. So the system remembers which date. So for example, if I select maybe on the 30th. So every month, if I choose this option, it'll be released on the 30th. Click on update to save this option. Okay. So here you can see my payslip status has now changed to release by date. If I click on release now, the payslip will still be released. Okay, you'll also notice that there are trash icons here. So let's say you haven't released the payslips yet. If you need to rerun, no worries, you can still delete it and do a rerun. Okay, so this will be the entire Payrun journey in this new user interface. You will also notice that on the top box, there's a FAQ page. So if you need step-by-step instructions, go ahead, click on this FAQ and it will link you directly to the page where we have our FAQ and the steps provided. One last thing will be, since this new user interface has an additional layer of approval, where do I go to set this approval? So this can be set under configuration page. So go to your payroll module, configuration. Under configuration, just go ahead into general tab and click on the configuration. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. And you'll notice this new section has been added here, which wasn't there before. So here's where you can set the approver settings. You can set to enable Payrun approval and set who exactly the approver will be. In this case, I have set as the super admin, which is why earlier I ran the payroll as my finance person, Jen, and then I logged out and I logged in as my super admin and I did the approval. Okay, so just remember whoever you set here will be the final person approving the pay run then. You can also choose to send the email notification for pay run approval. So if I tick this, I will receive an email notification anytime someone has done a pay run. And then I, as the super admin, will be notified that there's something pending for me to approve. Click on submit to save the changes. And that's all there is to the new Payrun Journey interface. Okay, everything else will be still the same, meaning if you need to use the reports, it will still be there. No changes to the reports itself. Yeah. Same thing for file generation. Once you have processed the information, all the data will still be reflected in the system. So here you'll be able to process as per normal. Okay. So that will be the entire Payrun process. So again, just to sum it up, the new Payrun interface, if you like to try using it, just go into your payroll module, process pay, click on the I want to try it to go into the new user interface. And then once you are in the new Payrun journey page, you will be able to process pay by clicking on the Add Payrun button. Once you click on the Add Payrun, you will see it split into 3 parts here, right at the top. So first step will be to select the employees. The second step will be to select the pay elements where you can update all the pay elements also. And then the last step will be to review the information before sending it for approval. Once you have sent it for approval, the approver will be able to log in into their account and approve the pay runs that you have done. Any pay runs that were done can be viewed under the overview page. Right at the bottom, you'll be able to see the approval history. Payrun approval history. Okay, so here again, you will be able to see new filter options, so you can view it either by the Payrun list or the employee list. Okay, and that comes to the end of our training session. So just take note that this is a beta run. So if you have any questions, we will be there to guide you. You can always reach out to contact our support team via email or through our WhatsApp line or in-app chat, and we will be there to assist you. Once this has been fully tested, after the beta has been completed, then it will go into the mainstream modules itself. Right. Thank you everyone for joining the session today. If you have any questions, just reach out to our support team.